Hello, awesome artists. Now that we've read the story of Vincent van Gogh, we're going to see if we can draw a version of his painting called Sunflowers. So we're going to begin. I'm just going to use pencil and plain white paper, but you can use whatever you have at home. I would definitely use something you can erase with, though, if you can. So first thing is going to be to just begin by drawing a curved line at the bottom of the page. It kind of looks like a smiley face, but it's actually going to be the bottom of our vase. And then I'm going to draw the sides of the vase by drawing a line that connects on this side, and then another one on this side, and then it curves in a little bit. So I'm trying to go for a shape like that. So it kind of does that and that, if you can. Other shaped vases are fine too. And then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make that just a little taller, is I'm going to draw another line that looks like a smiley face, but it's going to connect from here across to this side. And that's going to be the top of my vase. Now later I'll add a line in here, but I'm not going to do that just yet. But what I will do is draw a line that goes, because in Vincent van Gogh's real painting Sunflowers, his vase had a line, a curving line that went across like that. And then he actually had his name written under here. I'm gonna write my last name here, but when you do yours, you can write your name, especially if you can write in cursive, that would be awesome. So before I move on up to do the sunflowers, I'm also gonna add in the table. It's kind of like adding the horizon line in a picture because it's separating the top of my page from the bottom. And it's simply a horizontal line straight across the page. And notice how I didn't draw the line right at the edge of the vase. I want it to look like the vase is sitting on the table. So I don't want my line right here. I want to come up a little bit. And then I need to draw the other side. So I want to imagine that line coming across my vase right around here. And then I'm going to draw a line there as horizontal, going all the way to the other side. Okay, so far I have my vase sitting on the table. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is adding my sunflowers. And I'm going to start, I'm aiming for having about 5 sunflowers on my paper, and I want to be taking up the whole paper, so it's a big full bouquet. And I'm going to start by drawing some circles and ovals on my paper, which will be representing the centers of the flowers. So I'm going to start by drawing a nice big circle, not exactly in the center, but slightly to the side. And it's not the most perfect circle ever, but pretty good enough. So I have that one, and then I'm going to draw some oval shapes. So when I'm drawing an oval shape for the center, it's because the flower we're looking at it a little from the side instead of exactly straight on like we will when it's a circle. It's going to look more like an oval shape. Then I'm going to put one maybe over here. And let's see, maybe I'll put a bigger one here. And then I'm going to put another one. In his real picture, he actually has one that's kind of facing downward that's smaller, so I'm going to put that one down there. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to be adding in my petals, and I want to have a lot of variety, as in having things that are different in my picture to make it more interesting. So I'm going to have my petals look different, hopefully, for each of my flowers. And I think I'm going to start with this big one in the middle. And it's okay, even good sometimes, if the petals go off the page or if they cross somewhat in front of another flower, that's fine too. So I'm going to actually start by drawing a petal up here, and I want to keep the tip of the petal pointed. Sunflowers generally have a point at the end of the petal. So I'm going to add petals going around. And since I'm making a video, I can't really turn my paper, but you can. If you want to turn the paper as you go, sometimes that helps to keep your petals going straight. But, and I can go like this and then back down from the point. Or if it's easier, I could go up like that and then come back down to the flower and bring my line up to the point. Whatever works better for you, okay? So I'm going to keep going around. And I'm going to be getting to some other flowers there, and I'm going to end up having to cross over them a little bit. And I'm going to continue around, and then I'll come back and erase that line where I crossed over, because I want it to actually look like I am overlapping the other flower. And some of my petals are all different kind of shapes. They're not exactly all the same, which is good. I don't want them all to be exactly the same. So wherever I crossed over another petal, I'm going to erase that line because I want it to look like my petal went in front. So my big center flower for me is the one that's in front. And if yours is, if you want your big center flower to be the one in front, then you'll want to do this too. Okay. So let's fix that a little, fix that line. Okay, so let's see. The next thing I want to do is start adding petals to my other ovals. And I don't want them to all look the same. So I'm going to, let me think about some other ways I could do petals. So maybe I'm going to let this one have rounded petals. And lots of times with sunflowers, they have tons of layers of petals. So I'm going to go around this, and when I get to that petal here, I'm going to stop, because if I imagine it, it would go kind of here, imagine it, and then maybe another one comes up there, there, and maybe there's another one that fits in there. And then the spaces in between the petals, I can come back and see how I'm looking at the space in between the petals and adding another little petal right in there. That way it looks like it has tons and tons of petals. Okay, now let's see. This little one here is kind of like a new flower. It hasn't opened up all the way, so I'm going to give it little short little petals. And again, I don't want them all to look the same, because they wouldn't. In real life, they would never all be the same. So it's good that they're kind of different. And maybe I'll let it have some kind of crossing over the front a little. Okay, so no stems yet. We'll come back to the stems at the very end. This one over here, I think I'm gonna do round ones actually on this one too. So I still have plenty of variety because the other ones are all different so far. So I'm going to add round ones here. And I wouldn't see any here because this petal's in front. So put maybe one there and maybe part of one there. And I'm going to come back and do that extra row of little petals in there again, right in between. And maybe there too. Okay, so the only one left is this one up here in the corner, and I think I'm gonna make these be a little bit maybe longer. I'm kind of making wavy long lines with this one. So experiment. What kind of things can you think up to give your petals some life? This one is gonna go behind that one. So I'll come back up like that. I don't want it to cross over in my big flower. My big flower is the one overlapping the other. It's in front. So jump over. So you kind of got to use your imagination a little. Think about where that petal would be. I think that would be totally covered up by that big petal. Okay. So far, I have all my flowers. Before I add the stems in, a couple things I could do. I can add some little, kind of like the little seeds in here, add a bunch of those, and I'll probably add a lot more of those when I add some color. But let me just add some of those in so you have some idea. Okay, what else? Lots of times sunflowers will have concentric circles, which are circles inside of circles. I wouldn't make them exactly the same. You don't want it to look like a bullseye exactly. So see how like this circle is thinner, this one is thicker. So there's that. And then what else can I add? I think I'll do a few more little seeds in this one too. Okay, and I'm just about ready to add my stems. So I want to be thinking about which stem would probably be in front, probably this one. So where do I want my stem to come? I'm gonna let it kind of come, it's coming behind. So maybe it pops up right around here. And remember that your stems should have 2 parallel lines, not just one line, or that's just a line. It's not, a stem should have a thickness. Maybe I'll do this one back here. The stem on that one would be, I have to imagine a lot of it. So jump over, and I'm coming down. And notice that I'm touching this line right here, that front line of my vase. We'll be adding the back line of the vase in a little bit, but it comes down and it touches that front line, okay? Maybe I'll add this one in next. I'm gonna give that one just a little short stem, 2 parallel lines. This one, I'm gonna let the stem, I'm gonna imagine it kind of coming in like that. So it's coming, it's gonna turn up right there, jump over, and then come back, get the other half, jump over and down, and then this one, jump over and in, jump over and in. And last thing, I can come back now and add the back of my vase. And basically what I'm doing is just curving. It's the same, like a line kind of like this, but it's going along the back. And I want to erase any lines that don't belong there. So you're jumping over where the stems are, okay? So from here, guys, you can add whatever colors you want to add. I will come back in a minute to show you what I'm going to do, but I'm going to choose mainly kind of yellowy orange colors, probably yellow colors for most of the petals, maybe yellowy orange. If you have colored pencils, you can layer them to get some more interesting colors. The middle of the sunflowers are usually, sometimes they can be yellowish or brownish yellow, or you might add a little bit of black in here and there too. I'm going to leave that up to you. Vincent's vase, the top part was more of a like whitish color, but again, that's up to you. Just don't forget to color in the table, and don't forget to color in the petals and the center of the petals too. The background, the wall behind the sunflowers in Vincent's painting, it was sort of a really light blue color. So if you want it to look like his, you can color that light blue too, or maybe something else. Okay, so have fun with it, and I will see you soon. Bye.